In her book, Braiding Sweetgrass, Potawatomi biologist Robin Wall Kimmerer describes a ritual from her childhood that her father would perform when the family went camping. After brewing up coffee over their little Coleman stove in the morning's sharp chill, he would stand at the edge of the camp and lift their coffee pot of battered aluminum, blackened with the smoke of many fires. At this moment, all the kids knew without being told that it's time to pay attention. He would pour some of the coffee on the ground while speaking the native name of the local mountain peak or body of water. It was a way of saying thank you, making an offering back to the providing earth, of honoring the family's dependence on and grateful reception of all that sustained them. Although we don't pour communion wine out on the altar, as no one wants to have to defibrillate members of the altar guild, we do express a similar idea with the words from BCP's Prayer B, especially. We offer our sacrifice of praise and thanksgiving to you, O Lord of all, presenting to you from your creation this bread and this wine. As her father's cascade of coffee would patter over the earth, sending a trail of steam heavenward, Kimmerer would imagine that the land murmured to itself, "Oh, here are the ones who know how to say thank you." The moment came to mind when I read today's passage from 2 Timothy. The document presents Paul facing his death from a legal trial, sending Timothy final wisdom and advice. And here, in the very first sentence of today's portion, Paul says, "I am already being poured out as a libation," from the Latin libere, which means pour as an offering. And note what this pouring out means for Paul. He goes on to use three images for how he has spent his life. He has fought the good fight, he has finished the race, and he has kept the faith. These are distinctly unbraggadocious claims, especially from a man who was never shy to trumpet his own achievements. He does not claim to have won the race or the fight, only to have fought the fight and finished the race. And as for faith, he has simply kept it, maintained it, stayed trustworthy in his discipleship. Nothing flashy or jaw-dropping here. These are qualities to which any of us might aspire. Fight for something that matters, i.e., fight a good fight. Finish the race, no matter how slowly. Keep the faith. They call to mind a story I heard many years ago about a woman very active in her community, energetic in her volunteering and advocacy, who explained that she wanted to be all used up when her time comes to die. She wanted to leave it all on the field, as athletes say. She wanted to spend every ounce of her life's energy in living well and giving well, so there was nothing left when it was over. I'm already being poured out as a libation, Paul says, as if he were that rope of coffee falling from Kimmerer's father's pot, flashing gold in the morning sun. Of course, he's talking about his impending martyrdom. His life is literally being poured out, brought to an early end because of his activities bearing witness to the good news of Christ. The word martyr literally means witness in Greek. But I don't think we have to restrict our understanding of this language to such an extreme example. After all, Every life is being poured out at all times, some quickly, some slowly. That's the nature of being mortal. The only question has to do with the quality of the pouring. Is it self-absorbed or anxious or resentful of what is passing away? Is it unconscious or automatic, as if the pot were bottomless? Or is the pouring done in thanks, with a sense of joyful obligation for all we have received and in the hopes of being all used up at the end? What if that's the calling? To pour out our life for Christ in gratitude that this life has been given to us in the first place. Not to sacrifice ourselves in the martyring sense, but to offer ourselves so as to be well used when the time comes, to spend every ounce of our life's energy in living well and giving well, so there will be nothing left when it's over. And what if flowing is inherent to the nature of the God whom we're serving anyway? John Philip Newell, who we're reading in our Thursday book group, tells us that the 9th century Christian John Scotus Erigena envisioned God as the flow of life deep in all things, like a river of light. If that's true, then the life we're pouring out is simply returning whence it came, like the first stream of Kimmerer's camping coffee running down over smooth granite to merge with the lake water. Newell adds that this sense of God as liquid light that flows through and beneath and beyond us can foster in us a strong sense of inner authority in a time of immense outward transition and change. To look for the flow of the divine in all things is to consult also the compass of the soul and our place of inner knowing. To name what I trust is already known in this room today, that compass is leading my life in a new direction. To take up my healing work as a therapist full-time and to bring this chapter of parish ministry to a close. This whisper of my inner knowing has arrived in recent months with excitement, but also a sharp pang of grief and sadness. And I'm aware that it has come as a painful surprise to many of you. The flow of life deep in all things brings change and loss and anxiety and also, yes, new life. Being a resurrection people, we know and trust that all shall be well. But I want to be clear about one thing. I've never felt more joy and gratitude than in these years, pouring my bit of divine light out together with yours, adding our tributary to the mighty river of God's intention that justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. There is some light yet in this battered aluminum pot, despite the smoke of many fires. There is much light yet in the lives gathered in this container of Holy Cross. My wish for you is the same as it is for myself, that for the remainder of our time together and then on into the future after our parting, we will pour out our light as a libation and our life as an offering of thanks, a flowing back of the holy to its source, so that when the last ounce has fallen from the spout, we will indeed be all used up. And the God who is the subterranean river flowing through all things will murmur in recognition, "Oh, here are the ones who know how to say thank you." Amen.